Hey everyone, we just finished our last cardio core workout for month 2 of our 80-day obsession. So that is day 46. It's crazy to think that we only have 34 workouts left. It is absolutely flown by. Keep your fingers crossed that they're going to let us do another round before it actually launches. It's been incredible watching behind the scenes how it's being filmed, how it's being choreographed, how it's being developed, and really just seeing everybody's changes through the program. Today, Autumn really talked about how, to stop comparing ourselves, stop beating ourselves up. And she shared at the end of the video, which really hit home to me, is that she has skin. And like she pulled up her shirt, or she didn't have a shirt on, but she bent over and said, when I bend over, I have skin. She was like, I don't understand why people are so hard on themselves when everybody has skin. Like, you need skin. And really, she said, you need fat to survive. And I was thinking about how she shared after she had a DEXA scan about 3.5 weeks ago, which is a full body composition scan that literally tells you how much fluid you have, how much each part of your body weighs, like literally how much a leg weighs, how much muscle mass you have. And I was surprised that it was 19% body fat, because looking at her at 109 or 108 pounds versus looking at me at 150 something pounds, I would have assumed that she had like 10% body fat. And so really that is the biggest problem, is that everybody thinks that they know what is what and what should look like this, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they just assume, and then they compare themselves towards those assumptions. And really looking at Autumn, I think that she's 19% body fat. She's in excellent shape. And then I look at where I was when I was doing plyo, and I ended at 18% body fat. And I was 130 pounds, and so it was like 20 more pounds than she is now. And really, that's the biggest problem that especially women have, is that we compare ourselves. Like she said, don't get down on yourself because you have skin on your stomach. You need skin. You need fat. And that really, this is something that everybody has. And, I think about how embarrassing it's been, and how, so many people try to cover up that part of their body. And then I think about before I had kids, even when I was super skinny, I was like 105 pounds. Even when I would sit down, there would be like rolls of skin, and I really wasn't fat then. I hadn't had a child. So, I really want to just encourage more people to be vulnerable, I guess, but just really be human. And that's the one thing that Autumn really has been reinforcing over and over and over and over again in our group, is really not to compare ourselves. And I was telling my husband last night that one of my friends, Tulin, who's in the group, she's lost, I think, like the same amount of weight as I have, like 3 or 4 pounds, but she's lost mega inches, like 20 some odd inches. I've lost 17, almost 18 inches. And literally, if you look at her whole body's changed. She can fit in clothes that she hadn't been able to fit in before, but she had barely lost any weight. And so this is the thing, like I said, Autumn is at 108 pounds, 19% body fat. I was at 35 or 34 pounds at 18% body fat. And looking at everybody's body, the bio individuality, we're all different. And so it's nice to compare or look at other people and say, wow, they're really fit, they're in shape, they're super healthy. I aspire to have a healthy, fit body like that. But really, you can't ever have somebody else's body, because you really don't know what their body composition's like, how much energy they're putting in, what things that they're fighting against in their own environment. But I wanted to talk to you today about something that somebody asked the other day, like basically asking me what my angle is, what my motive is. And I'll tell you, when I started my own health and fitness journey, I had no motivation other than I just wanted to look and feel good. I had no idea that I would actually end up liking fitness or having a relationship with the person that gave me hope that I could get healthy and fit as a mom as well. And then when I started my journey, I was super excited about the things I could do. I literally was the girl that ran, or not even ran, the mile at school that you had to do periodically. It would take me like over 24 minutes. I was definitely not the definition of fit. So when I was able to like rock P90X, and when I was able to get through a week of it, I was excited, and I told everybody. And anytime you see in social media, people are always sharing the exciting parts of their life, whether it's they bought a $500 purse or they're going on some trip or whatever. People share these things when their kid loses a tooth. So this was one of those things for me that was super exciting. And then people started watching, and people have asked me before, as I've created a career as a life and health and fitness coach, why I've been successful. And truly, I believe it's because of the fact that I never got excited about anything. I was never part of any clubs. I didn't really have any hobbies or interests, and I never got excited about anything. But when I found fitness, when I found this community of supportive people that added positivity towards my life, I got excited. And it was one of those things that Mindy never put her stamp on anything, and I did. I put my stamp on this, and I talked about it all the time, where it became an obsession, an addiction, and then people started paying attention, because I'm not one of those people that one day I like this and the next day I like that, and then I change my mind from month to month. I have been consistent with my fitness, with my mission. And so a lot of people may not know my story, but I didn't start out trying to create a business. I didn't start out trying to help other people. I didn't start out, thinking that I could ever do this full time. I certainly didn't think that I would ever share all the parts of my life that have been things that I was ashamed of for many years. But my angle and my motive now is the fact that I want to give people hope, because I was struggling. I was a total mess. I was drinking heavily. We were using drugs recreationally. I was depressed. Our marriage was on the, brink, because we didn't really have a common goal. We didn't have any positivity. I was lonely. My husband was working out of town. And then I found fitness, and it gave me something to focus on. It gave me something that helped with my health. I took care of myself. I had more energy. I was, positive, or a positive role model for my kids. And then when other people started paying attention, I realized what an impact I could have on other people. And so when I found the person that got me introduced into fitness, she really was just basically somebody who gave me hope, because I didn't believe that I could ever be healthy or fit, and because of so many different reasons. I had so many excuses, but when I found her, she gave me hope. And I am so happy and so proud that I picked her, because I watched her for several days. I went through her whole profile, and as far back as I could scroll, she was all about fitness, and she was somebody that wasn't going to leave me. She wasn't somebody that was going to ditch me. She was somebody that seemed to know what she was doing, plus she had the results. Lots of people say, they claim that they have this and that, but if you look at their life, there really is no reflection of what they're actually advising. And I looked at her, and she was exact representation of what she was preaching. And still to this day, no matter what, fitness always comes first. She always leads with that. And so I can say that in 5.5 years, she stayed consistent, and she helped me, somebody who had the habit of quitting, the habit of procrastinating, the habit of giving up anytime there was a little bit of a failure. She gave me the gift of learning how to be consistent just by modeling her behavior. And I know that I chose wisely, because she's still here. And that's something that I feel that I have as a good characteristic as for what I do in this field, is that I have staying power, is that I'm committed, that I'm not going to be doing something else a year from now, 10 years from now. I truly love what I'm doing. And really, that is something that when people ask, well, what's my angle? Well, now it's to give you hope that you can get fit, hope that you're worthy of getting healthy and fit, because a lot of people don't think that they ever will be healthy, because diabetes runs in their family, heart disease runs in their family, all these different things that people think that they're plagued of having a certain life just because different generations have that. They can change anything and change the way things work in their family by making a different decision and not living by other people's, lifestyle. I help people believe that they're worthy of investing time and money. Most people are, and have a mess of their life, and they will sing themselves into their kids, sing themselves into other people, because they don't feel like they can actually fix themselves. So they'd rather help somebody else and take the light off of themselves. So I help with that. And so, yeah, I do run a business, and yes, I do have a product that I believe 100% in. And yes, I do have the tools that will help you achieve the same things I have in probably the same amount of time, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit faster, depending on your effort. But really, what my main objective is just to give people hope that they can do it. whether, no matter what it is. And I learn so much all the time because of this, that I always want to share it with people. That, like, I believe that once you learn something, you should share it with people. What's the point of keeping it a secret? Today I was listening to this book that I started, and that's something that I would have never gotten into had I not gotten into fitness, but that is personal development, which has changed everything about the way I operate my life, about the way I think, about the relationship I have, about my marriage, my family. But I actually wrote it down because I knew I'd forget. But I'm reading the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins. I talked about it yesterday. So if you have a chance, I highly recommend that you Google, and it's actually floating on Facebook too, or go to YouTube and look up Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. It's incredible. She wrote a book. I've been reading it, and she was talking about how, did you know that 1/3 of adults and half the people under age 35 wake up in the middle of the night to check their phone? That's insane. I learned that in this chapter because it's something that I shared yesterday kind of publicly. I asked, do you know what sleep inertia is? I'd never heard that term until I read this book. And you might think that this has nothing to do with the 5-second rule that she's talking about, or health and fitness, but it is. So Autumn's always telling us to get enough rest. That is part, she's demanding that we as the test group participants get self-care. So I've been really careful about tracking my sleep and making sure I get 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep and no less than that, so that I can function, so that my muscles can repair overnight, so that I'm not grouchy, so that I have the energy. So anyways, Mel Robbins was talking about sleep inertia, and that scientifically the snooze button will work against you and your brain function and your productivity. And so I started listening, and so I re-listened to it 3 times because I wanted to be able to share this with you in case you're struggling with this. So I'm somebody that, you can ask my husband, I've talked about this a million times. I hit snooze 50 million times. I literally usually have about 3 alarms going, and I never get up on time. And the crazy part is that I have lately been dealing with really low energy. Well, not since I started AD Obsession, but before I was really struggling with low energy. I was eating right. I was getting the right nutrients. I was even getting 8 hours of sleep from the time I laid down, from the time I got up. I had been putting my phone in another room. At one point in time, even, turning off the TV, doing all the things that I knew to do. I thought that maybe I had sleep apnea, all these different factors. I thought it was the medication. And then literally listening to this chapter of the book, it really made sense. So if you are somebody that habitually is pushing snooze, stop doing it. And this is why. She explained that we sleep in cycles that are anywhere from 90 minutes to 110 minutes. So if you go to bed at, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, by 4 or 5 in the morning, you've went through several sleep cycles. And if you have a Fitbit like I do and track your sleep, you'll see where you have those sleep cycles. So when you turn your alarm off and you go to sleep, most of the time, and this is happening to me millions of times because I was notorious for turning the alarm off and oversleeping. Most of the time when you turn the alarm off and you fall asleep, again, you don't wake up 10 minutes later. You usually don't wake up to an hour or so later, and you're like, how did that even happen? And that's because your body went into another sleep cycle. So if you hit snooze and then you fall back to sleep, and then 10 minutes later another alarm goes off and you hit snooze, then you're not actually being able to fulfill that sleep cycle. And then you can physically force yourself up, and I always do, but you never get that sleep cycle, and you never get that good sleep. So when you do that, it actually impairs your brain function and keeps you in a fog and keeps you feeling super tired throughout the day and lethargic for about 4 hours, they said. So I was like, oh my God, this is totally my issue. So I'm going to go back to what I was doing over the summer when I was trying to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and really put my phone in the other room, that way I can still hear my alarm, and then using her method of counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch myself out of bed and get up. And like she said, it will take maybe 4 minutes to fully wake up and feel good, but I'm going to get right up and get going. And this is something that I learned from Hal Elrod, who is responsible for the book and the Practice a Miracle Morning, is that he talks about doing the same thing, getting up as soon as the alarm goes off, getting up, washing your face and brushing your teeth, and by that time you're going to be awake. And that was one thing that she was talking about, keeping your phone in a different room, because so many people, which is surprising, it said one third of adults and one half of people under 35, they're not just laying in bed checking their email in the morning when they wake up, they're waking up in the middle of the night. This is disrupting their sleep. Lack of sleep can cause so many issues in your life. And so she said that once she gets up, she gets, her teeth brushed, her face washed, she goes into the kitchen. The first thing she does is think about what she wants to accomplish that day, and then she writes it down, because there is, what she said, you're 42% more likely to stick to your goals if you write them down, which I know is true because I've been writing my goals down for years now. But she had a really good point that when you go, before you touch your phone, before you turn the TV, like she says, she goes in and makes herself a cup of coffee and she thinks about what she needs to do. She doesn't wait till she gets to work. She doesn't wait till after she's done everything with her kids. She makes sure that she focuses on what she needs to do for herself and prioritizes herself number one before anybody else. So that's something that I really challenge you to do, that get up, get your day started before you turn on the news, before you get on Facebook, before you start answering emails, before you start interacting with your family. Focus on what you want to get done so that you at least know that you started off that day, with a couple minutes to yourself. And really, she said that, science proves that the first 2 to 3 hours of your day is when you have peak brain function. So I thought about all my mornings. If I wake up late, or if I wake up right when we have to get ready, then I'm using all my energy when my brain is working the most on doing like mundane things, letting Beast outside, setting clothes out, making lunches, and then by the time I get, my kid dropped off, then I'm back, and I'm almost at that window of 3 hours. So getting up early is very beneficial, and really making sure you spend time for yourself and not wasting that great brain function time on stuff that, doesn't really deserve all that much energy. So anyways, when I say that's my angle, this is it, is to be able to share with you all the things that I've learned since I talked to you last, to share the aha moments about myself, because I know in the end that people may not buy into everything that I am really sharing or teaching or challenging you to do, but more people are actually influenced by what I say than people who think that it's ridiculous. So I share this because I want you to have a better life, and that if any part of my life is relatable and that you might be struggling in, I hope that I give you hope that you don't have to be stuck in whatever situation you are in. You're not a tree. You are not stuck. So anyways, that's all I have to say for today. I hope you're having a great day.